There is something sacred about the smell of grilled onions and charred tortillas at dawn. Standing in front of our food truck this morning, I could feel my grandfather Frank beside me, even though he has been gone for 16 years. This beat-up red truck was not just a business. It was proof that our family belonged here, that our story mattered. I thought nobody could take that away from me. But I was wrong. The person trying to steal it was Travis, my stepbrother, the same guy who spent 8 years treating this place like a joke. Now that success finally arrived, he wanted half of everything he never believed in. Before I tell you how this all went down, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments. And if you have ever had someone mock your dreams only to come crawling back when you succeed, hit that like button. Subscribe, because this story gets wild, and you will not want to miss what happened when Travis showed up with a lawyer. All right, let me take you back to where it all started. My grandfather Frank came to America from Mexico when he was just 19 years old. He arrived in Austin, Texas with $40 in his pocket and a dream bigger than the desert sky. In 1985, he opened La Cocina de Frank, a food truck that served carnitas tacos, elote, and tamales made from my grandmother's secret family recipe. That truck with its faded red paint and hand-painted sign became a landmark in our neighborhood. I grew up inside that truck. My earliest memories are of standing on a wooden crate so I could reach the cutting board, learning to dice tomatoes, while Grandpa told stories about crossing the border and finding work in kitchens where nobody spoke his language. When I was 8 years old, he taught me how to make salsa verde. He would say, "Mijo, this truck is not just business. It is our story, our dignity, our proof that we belong here." Those words stuck with me like the smell of cumin and cilantro that never quite washed out of my clothes. When I turned 14, Grandpa Frank got sick. Cancer took him fast the way wildfires take dry grass. In his will, he left the food truck to me. Not to my mom, not to anyone else, just to me. He wanted me to carry forward what he had built. My mother Maria helped keep the truck running while I was still too young to manage it alone, working the grill before her shift at the hospital, and teaching me everything Grandpa had taught her. 2 years after Grandpa died, Mom met Richard at a community fundraiser. Richard was an accountant, calm and organized, everything my mom needed after years of struggling alone. He seemed kind enough. They dated for 18 months before getting married, in a small ceremony at the courthouse. I was 16. Richard had a son named Travis, who was 3 years older than me, studying business administration at the University of Texas. The wedding happened on a Saturday in June. Travis showed up late wearing sunglasses indoors and checking his phone throughout the entire ceremony. Afterward, at the small reception Mom threw at our house, Travis barely said 10 words to me. He spent most of the time talking to his friends about some internship he landed at a finance company. The first time Travis visited the food truck, I knew we would never be real brothers. He pulled up in his black Audi, a gift from Richard for making the dean's list, and stepped out looking around like he had wandered into the wrong part of town. I was cleaning the grill after the lunch rush, sweating through my shirt in the Texas heat. "So this is the famous taco wagon," he said, wrinkling his nose. "Dude, this is embarrassing. You are sweating over a grill for what, $20 an hour?" I tried to explain what the truck meant to our family. I told him about Grandpa Frank, about the recipes passed down through generations, about how this place represented decades of hard work and sacrifice. Travis just laughed. "Real money is in corporate, little brother," he said, leaning against his car. "Not flipping tortillas. I am going to work at Goldman Sachs after graduation. That is where the real players are." I wanted to punch him. Instead, I turned back to the grill and kept scrubbing. My hands were shaking, but I told myself it did not matter what he thought. This was my inheritance, my responsibility, my connection to Grandpa Frank. Travis could go chase his corporate dreams. I had something worth more than any salary. For the next 4 years, Travis never stopped mocking me. At every family gathering, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter brunch, he found ways to turn the food truck into a punchline. He would tell his college buddies stories about his stepbrother's cute little food business, making air quotes with his fingers when he said the word business. "You guys should see Gail at the truck," he would say at dinner parties. "He's got this cute little apron and everything. It is like watching someone play restaurant." One time, he brought his girlfriend Brittany to meet the family. When Mom suggested they stop by the truck for lunch, Travis made a big show of it. "This is my stepbrother's, mobile restaurant business," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Brittany tried to hide her smile behind her hand, but I saw it. I saw them both treating my life like it was some kind of charity case. Richard never said anything to defend me. He would sit there quietly, sometimes nodding along when Travis talked about the superiority of corporate careers. Mom would give me these apologetic looks and whisper later, "Travis does not mean it, honey. He is just different from us." But different did not excuse cruel. Different did not justify the constant stream of insults disguised as jokes. The names piled up over the years. Food truck loser. Taco boy. Going nowhere fast. Every jab felt like a knife, but I learned to keep my face neutral, to not give Travis the satisfaction of seeing me hurt. Travis graduated with honors and landed a position at a financial firm in downtown Austin. He made 6 figures right out of college, and never let anyone forget it. Every holiday became a performance where he casually mentioned his latest bonus, his company car, his expense account for client dinners at the fanciest steakhouses in the city. He would look at me across the table smirking, like he was waiting for me to admit defeat, but I refused to give up. While Travis was climbing the corporate ladder, I enrolled in culinary arts classes at Austin Community College, taking night courses after long days at the truck. I studied food chemistry, menu development, and business management. I experimented with fusion recipes, creating Korean barbecue tacos and Thai basil carnitas that blended Grandpa's traditional techniques with modern flavors. I started an Instagram account for the truck, posting photos of our food against the Austin skyline. I engaged with customers online, asked for feedback, built a community. Slowly, our regular customer base grew. People started seeking us out specifically, not just grabbing lunch because we were convenient. I thought about Grandpa Frank every single day. When the grill broke down, and I had to spend my entire savings to replace it, I heard his voice telling me to keep going. When I worked 80-hour weeks and fell asleep dreaming about salsa recipes, I felt his hand on my shoulder. I would prove Travis wrong. Not for him, but for the man who believed in me when I was just a kid, standing on a wooden crate. As my 25th birthday approached, I could finally see light at the end of the tunnel. The truck was making steady profit. We had loyal customers who came back week after week. Local food critics had started noticing us. I dared to hope that maybe, just maybe, I was building something that would make Grandpa proud. But I had no idea that success would bring a challenge far worse than any struggle I had faced so far. 3 years after I doubled down on the food truck, everything changed. I was 25 years old, and La Cucina de Frank had become something I never imagined possible. It started with a single Instagram post that went viral. Jessica Park, a food blogger with 500,000 followers, stopped by our truck on a random Tuesday afternoon. She ordered 3 different tacos elote and a horchata. I had no idea who she was. She sat at one of our folding tables, eating slowly, taking notes on her phone. 20 minutes later, she posted a review, calling La Cucina de Frank the hidden gem of Austin. Her video showed close-ups of our carnitas, the juice running down her fingers, her eyes closing in genuine pleasure as she took that first bite. That video got 2 million views in 1 week. Suddenly, we had lines stretching 2 blocks every single day. People drove from San Antonio and Dallas just to try our food. The phone rang constantly with catering requests. Local newspapers wanted to interview me about being a young entrepreneur, honoring his grandfather's legacy. Food and Wine magazine included us in an article about the best food trucks in America. I hired 2 employees to help manage the explosion in business. Diego, a line cook from El Salvador, became my right hand on the grill. Lucia, a recent culinary school graduate, helped me develop new menu items and manage inventory. Our monthly revenue jumped from $2,000 to $25,000. I could barely believe the numbers when I looked at our bank statements. 6 months after Jessica's review, I opened a second truck on the north side of Austin. Then I bought a commercial kitchen space where we could prep ingredients in bulk and experiment with new recipes. The local newspaper ran a front-page feature about how I was expanding while staying true to Grandpa Frank's original vision. Through all of this, I never told Travis or his father what was happening. Mom knew, of course. She cried happy tears when I showed her the first viral video, but I asked her not to share the news with Richard or Travis. I wanted to build this success without their judgment, without Travis turning it into another opportunity to make me feel small. For 2 blissful years, I worked in peace. Then Travis saw the newspaper article on Facebook. My phone rang on a Wednesday morning. I was prepping vegetables for the lunch rush when I saw Travis's name on the screen. We had not spoken in over 2 years. My first instinct was to let it go to voicemail, but curiosity won. "Bro," Travis said, his voice suddenly warm and friendly in a way I had never heard before. "I saw the article about you. Man, I had no idea you were crushing it like this. Congratulations, seriously." "Thanks," I said carefully. "I have been thinking about you," he continued. We should get together, catch up properly. How about dinner this week, my treat? Every instinct told me to say no. But part of me, the part that still remembered, being that 16-year-old kid desperate for a real family, wondered if maybe Travis had actually changed. Maybe success had humbled him. Maybe he genuinely wanted to repair our relationship. Sure, I said. When and where? That Saturday, I met Travis at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, one of the most expensive restaurants in Austin. He was already there when I arrived, wearing a sharp suit and designer watch, looking every inch the successful finance professional. He stood up and hugged me, which felt so strange that I almost pulled away. Over $200 steaks, Travis asked detailed questions about the business. How many trucks did I have now? What was our daily revenue? Did I have plans to expand further? Had I thought about franchising? I answered honestly, caught up in his apparent enthusiasm. He seemed genuinely impressed, proud even. You really proved me wrong, man, he said, raising his wine glass. I was an idiot back then, young and stupid. I did not understand what you were building. The words felt good. I would be lying if I said they did not. After years of mockery, hearing Travis admit he was wrong was like cool water on a burn. I am really proud of you, little brother, he said as we finished dessert. Family should support family, right? I drove home that night feeling lighter than I had in years. Maybe we could have a real relationship after all. Maybe the success had finally earned me his respect. 2 weeks later, everything fell apart. Travis called and invited me to Mom and Richard's house for a family dinner. Nothing unusual about that. We gathered there once a month or so, usually for birthdays or holidays. But when I arrived that evening, the atmosphere felt wrong. Mom looked anxious, wringing her hands. Richard sat stiffly in his armchair, his face unreadable. After we ate pot roast that none of us really tasted, Travis pulled out a manila folder from his briefcase. He set it on the dining room table like a lawyer presenting evidence. Gail, I have been thinking a lot about your success, he began. We are family and I want to be part of what you are building. My stomach dropped. I knew that tone. That was his business voice, the one he used when he was about to negotiate something. I want to invest in La Cocina de Frank, he continued. I will put in $50,000 and we become 50-50 partners. Equal ownership, equal say in all decisions. I stared at him. Partners, Travis, this is Grandpa's legacy. I built this from nothing while you were making fun of it. His expression shifted, the friendly mask, sliding away, to reveal something harder underneath. Actually, legally speaking, there might be some gray areas here. He opened the folder and pulled out photocopies of Grandpa's will and other legal documents I had never seen before. The will was written before Mom remarried, he explained. When our parents married, certain assets became communal in blended family situations. Richard is married to Maria, and this truck was technically part of the estate that came into the marriage. I could not breathe. My ears were ringing. This is insane. Grandpa left the truck to me. The will is clear. Richard finally spoke. Travis has a point, son. Blended families often share assets in ways that the original documents did not anticipate. I turned to my mother. Mom, are you hearing this? Are you really going to let them do this? Tears streamed down her face. Please, both of you do not fight. We are family. Maybe Travis is right about the legal complications. I do not understand all this legal stuff. I felt like the floor was dissolving beneath me. My own mother would not defend me. Would not stand up for what her father had explicitly left to me. Look, Travis said, his voice taking on a practiced smoothness. I am not trying to steal anything. I am offering you a fair deal. $50,000 for half the business. That is more than generous given the potential legal complications. The business is worth way more than $100,000 now, I said, my voice shaking. Travis smiled, and in that smile, I saw everything I needed to know. He had planned this, researched it, waited until I was successful enough to be worth the effort. Then, you should take my offer, he said calmly. Otherwise, we might need to involve lawyers to properly clarify the estate situation. That could take years. Cost a fortune in legal fees. Drag your mother through a painful court process. Is that what you want? My hands clenched into fists under the table. You have 2 weeks to decide, he continued, sliding a contract across to me. 50-50 partnership, or we handle this through the courts. I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. You spent 8 years telling me this truck was worthless. You called it embarrassing, a waste of time. And now you want half business is business, Travis said, with a shrug. Nothing personal. I looked at each of them. Travis cold and calculating. Richard complicit in his silence. My mother crying but still not standing up for me. I grabbed the contract, tore it in half, and walked out. That night I did not sleep at all. I sat in the original food truck, the one Grandpa Frank had driven, surrounded by his tools and the smell of decades of cooking. I found old videos on my phone clips I had taken of Grandpa teaching me to cook before he got too sick to stand at the grill. I watched his hands weathered and strong, showing me the exact angle to fold a tortilla. "This is ours," Mijo, his voice said from the speaker. "Do not ever let anyone take it." I called a lawyer first thing the next morning. Mr. Henderson was a family law attorney someone at the community college had recommended. After I explained the situation, he studied the will for 2 hours before calling me back. "The will is ironclad," he said. "Your grandfather left the truck specifically to you. Blended family status does not change individual inheritance rights."